Good afternoon and welcome to GWK Park in Kimberley for the Absa Currie Cup Under-21 B Division clash between Griekwas and the Griffons. Griekwas started off the season well, winning away from home last week. They'll be looking to build on that. Griffons, on the other hand, lost at home, and that's something they'll want to bounce back from to win their first match of the season. Results last night is the Eastern Province Kings making it 2 out of 2 against the Eagles, whereas the Pumas beating the Cavaliers 24-20. Just looking at the log over there, the Eastern Province Kings right at the top there, 2 out of 2, whereas the Eagles right at the bottom. You've got Griekwas over there, 1 out of 1 to make that 4 points on the log. With the Griffons as well, they went down last week, 2 points on that log. Fantastic weather in Kimberley today. The sun has just come out. There's not much wind to speak of. It should be fantastic conditions for running rugby. Well, it's going to be a tough game here today for the Griffons. The Griekwas have not lost the game at home last season. They're going to want to come out today and win this match and carry on that good home record. But to take you through the action, our commentators are standing by.
So there we have it then. The scene is set for this Under-21 B Division clash here. And we could almost say neighbours, although in South Africa, neighbours could be some distance away as well because of the size of our country. And of course, you know, the afternoon, a Saturday afternoon is a glorious place to be for some people to relax, watch some rugby. So that's the visiting team then from the city of Welkom, I guess you could call it as well. Mario Noortman is captaining this side from the scrum half position, and they know they need to get a win because first match last week was at home as well, where they went down. So a big day for them, and playing away from home on this occasion. The Griekwas team started rather well last week, beating the Pumas away from home. And Werner Badenhorst and his Chargers will be coming and with a high degree of confidence into this match today. Some good players to keep an eye on there as well. Amongst the pack of forwards, Griekwas once again showing that they're always very strong up front. So some really powerful players there. And watch out for Valdo Botha and SP Wessels in the pack. You would have heard Zena Isaacs talking just now as well about the weather situation here. Really is pretty good this for some good running rugby. So those are the replacements then, and no doubt also those guys will get an opportunity. Looking forward to it, I'm sure, on a fairly firm underfoot field. So they were practicing on the B field just now with the Griffons, just going through their necessaries to get themselves tactically aware, as well as just also making sure that they are loose-limbed. But at that age of 21, alongside me is former Springbok, and this particular man, Warren Brosnian, will remember 21. It wasn't that long ago, was it, Wayne?
Not too long ago, Gavin. Great moment for these players to run out, and the Griffons obviously would like to get a victory. They're very disappointed to lose last week against the Falca. The Griekwas, a great victory last week against the Pumas, 16 points to 14. They've been let out by their big number 8, Werner Badenhorst. We see Bushy, the Griekwas mascot, leading them out as well. And they wanted to continue their good form and win at home after winning on the road last week. You mentioned it, a strong pack of forwards for Griekwas. They've got the loose forward trio of Werner Badenhorst, Jonathan Africa and Leon Bredenhand. Watch out for them working as a collective unit.
So Peter Janssen from Vieren will referee this match. See, Ruben Rousseau is on the line. I think he's doing the main match after this as well. So it's a long day for him as an assistant referee. It'll be the Griffons who will be kicking off. Reno Fenter is in their fly half position. And Griek was well set up to field this ball. That's a great opening kick. just bouncing in field. Griekwas actually stood back
Advantage.
to have a look and see just what was going to happen with that ball.
Taken back.
It's not a great ball that for Jonty Gray from the flower position for Griekwas. On an opportunity here to counter-attack. Well, they've done really well there just now. Someone's got to straighten up here. The man straightening up there was Jaco Nordia. That ball going forward, so a little knock on there. So first scrum then of the match.
It was a really good kickoff from Rona Venter. Unfortunately, his players couldn't get underneath it and turn the ball. They're going to get the opportunity here from this scrum. Brought back strongly by the Griekwas players. Rona Venter getting involved again. And then the loose forward, Jaco Nordia, handling the ball, just not getting the pass to hand.
Touch.
Now, when you're playing on a fast field, it's really important to straighten your lines when you can. That scrum crabbing somewhat. Of course, the first scrum always vital for both backs to assert their ascendancy.
Get your binding.
Big Wilhelm Steenkamp here on the tight head side, not getting the arm up. Both players, there's no bind from illegal, also going in on the angle. Wilhelm Steenkamp up against SP Wessels.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Well, we saw that SP Wessels lost his bind at loose head.
Binding.
And obviously this is where it's also so useful just to have your assistant referee on this side, Ruben Rousseau, and it'll be a first opportunity and a kick at goal. Let's have a look at this, Warren.
Just never got the bind, did he? The left arm never came up, never grabbed hold of the jersey of Wilhelm Steenkamp, and Stefanus Wessels concedes the penalty. Last week we were here, the wind was blowing very, very strongly, almost in the opposite direction.
Well, I think that direction, as we saw it there, it'll make it quite difficult for Rona Venter. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people who will be very happy about this win because it brings the convectional thunderstorms in summer. So the farmers will be happy.
Yeah, we had a few drops of rain just before this game.
Well, it's swinging round, but just not enough. He's certainly got the distance there, so that's a good 50 meter. And into the wind as well. But we do know that in most stadia in South Africa, the wind does tend to swirl a little bit. This is Jonty Gray now with the deep kick in into space. You could see he's actually picked out an area where no one was standing, and the Griffons, that's very poor defending from them.
You've got to get a man underneath that ball. Fantastic work by Jonty Gray to spot the space and drop the ball in there. Fantastic 22 kickoff.
Hold.
So line out time, and it's a short line out to start with for Wimpy Hutting. Throwing to the back to Wayne Ludik. Well, it was targeted for Wayne Ludik, didn't go to him.
4-5 numbers.
So number problems there from Griekwas. That's why you always need a mathematician in a line out.
Step.
Carried up there by Colin Herbert. They look full of energy to the Griffons, I must say. Led by the man with the ball right now, Mario Noortman. And I'm sure they'll kick a goal again. He's already shown that he's... Well, you know, this is so interesting. They're not kicking at goal, yeah, Warren. And
you've got to feel that's an easier kick as well. A little bit closer, not quite the same angle. But they want to keep that pressure on the Griekwas side. All these players offside. They've got to be behind the very last feet, or even where the head is, of that Griffons player that's lying on the ground.
Tap down there from Wayne Ludik, but that wasn't in straight, I don't think.
Straight.
That's two disappointing lineouts to start off the game. One from the Griffons, one from the Griekwas. Both unable to secure the ball at their primary phase. And we've seen in World Rugby at the moment, the fences have got so good. Teams are scoring from that first phase possession. Just overdoes it. The timing's not there. It's also skew on the throw.
So the short lineouts are not working. Let's see if they go back to regulation lineouts.
Luister. Al twee van jullie, wacht voor my kom. Al twee van jullie. Ek die skouers bietjie hoor. Crouch.
So good that Peter Jansen from Fearon has got in amongst the pack there. The front rows are telling them what he wants.
Engage.
Primary will be binding, this time from SP Vessels. It's a lot better.
Release now, 9 out.
Pick up and carries are very useful, provided that you guard the possession that you've got on the ground. Griekwas have managed to do that.
Oh, the big number 8 and captain Werner Badenhorst did well to hold on to that ball. Very nearly poached by this Griffons under 21 team.
Vorige binding fine. Okay. Crouch. Right.
So I guess what's really important for Griekwas is to get out of their 22. So Tiaan Roux will have Jonty Gray to call on to kick it downfield if needed.
Crouch.
Once you know the ball travels, if you can get it to start bouncing, you can gain prodigious distances.
Pause. Engage. Go again.
This time it's a penalty for not scrumming straight. Jonty Gray kicks the ball pretty low, I must say, and but that's great. You know, when you've got the wind that, well, if it is at your back, you sometimes want to launch it very high, but that's his skill.
He's just been blind for scrumming in, has Wilhelm's Tiaan. Tiaan Roux, of course, was also at the tunnel, ready to put the ball in. He needs to feed it as well. He can't hang around.
So Griekwas also
Back,
with a
six,
shorter line out. The line outs have really been in shambles for both sides.
Step.
Nootman waiting for it. Reno Venter with enough time, or I'm not. Maybe no. I thought he might have overcooked that a little bit. This is better play. This is good play by Griekwas. Now they've got to open up the space. Go at the man. Well, he's gone at him, but he hasn't got the pass inside. So poor finishing there from Billy Liebenberg, but great running off the ball by him.
Oh, it's fantastic work by the Griekwas under 21 side. I think it shows you, if you're going to kick the ball, make sure your kick chase as well is good, because the return from Griekwas was so good. Their number 11, Darren Koopman, did a great job, drew the ball, got their fullback, Fani de Vet, straight into the play, and they've won lots of field because of a poor kick chase from the Griekwas, from the Griffons under 21 team.
Oh, when they need a line out, looks like they've got it. Still lots of pressure coming from Griekwas here, but they've conceded another penalty.
5. Tiaan.
So in an attacking position, you don't want to give up the momentum that you've got. And Reno Venter just looking to do a little banana kick there. And
Did you used to do those, Gav? Yeah, you used to play flower half?
Torpedoes, boy, was the order of our day.
The big torpedo. There's the Bushy, the supporter for this Griekwas side, been here and supporting the Griekwas for over 60 years.
Is that right? 60 years.
79 years of age.
3.
My goodness.
Sorry.
He said to me last week, and in those 60 years, he's never lost his voice.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's lost a few games, but not his voice, eh? It's a far better scrum line out rather, with Wayne Ruddick with a catch.
Good line.
Not great ball protection on the ground.
Step.
I just fancy that they're feeling the pressure a little bit in their 22 other Griffons. Nootman has got Venter standing back. Got a pretty big boot this, I must say.
Get back.
It's into the wind. This is Jonty Gray. Long pass. It's two really big men in Tiaan Knutzer and Heinrich Momberg at centre for Griekwas. It was Momberg that carried that in.
5 now.
Terrific competition in that maul, which now becomes a ruck.
To get in, didn't use. Purple ball.
Oh, that is great work by this Griffons under 21 side, and led by their loose head PW or Pierre Buerta. He was the man that got in there, held that ball up and turned it.
Short hold up while Tiaan Roux puts on his other pink boot. It's a salmon pink, isn't it? Huh? Warren, I think, I mean, you know my answer to that, but you played football more recent times. Huh? Black and white.
Black and white is good for me, let me tell you, the whole way through. I couldn't picture you in a pair of those pink beauties playing in the fly half position. Of course, we've got a great game later on. It's the central derby between the Griekwas and the Free State Cheetahs. Live on Supersport at 10 to 3. We come across for the broadcast, don't miss it.
Crouch! The shoulder up it.
So Noordman, midfield scrummage, slightly defensive, but an opportunity to attack here. I tell you, Tiaan is having a number of problems at the scrums.
He's got to sort it out. He's got to make sure that
both teams wait for the ball before you shove. Both teams wait for the ball.
It's just what I was going to say. He's got to watch because these players are jumping the E, they're jumping the engage, trying to get the hit. There's a real contest between the number one for Griekwas, Stefanus Wessels or SP Wessels with the headgear on, and Wilhelm Steenkamp, the tight head for the Griffons under 21.
Touch!
We had such an interesting discussion yesterday. A group of us, and guys were asking me about crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Six.
There's better continuity.
Pass out.
The players tend to engage a little bit earlier because there's a big gap between the words there ultimately until they call engage. Anyway, that's a debate for another day. Noordman just looks to see if he can find some space. This is good play. Good straightening up there that allows the opportunity to play it a little bit wider.
7.
And again in a really good position, the Griffons giving away that momentum.
It's so disappointing for the Griffons. Under 21 side, they found space, they had numbers. Their flanker, Luan Kleingeld, did a good job of drawing the players and releasing the ball.
There you can see John T. Gray with a reasonable kick, also the little banana kick. You mentioned it just now, Warren, you know, and I would really like people to maybe get under the tutelage of Andre Pretorius, who was very much a right footer at one stage, and he learned to kick with his left foot when he was on that side of the field. Today, you guys don't really do that. I don't see many players using both feet in those circumstances.
It's the skills that the players used to have in learning to kick with both feet. It's so important as a fly half to have both options. You use the left, you use the right. It's the same with the passing. You've got to be able to pass left, you've got to be able to pass right. Standard skills that the players have got to learn. If you're a kicking player and you're in that position of number 10, in that 15 position, you've got to be able to kick with either foot.
I'm a firm believer in that. That's Werner Badenhorst that's gone off at the moment to be replaced temporarily by Chris Manches. Just some running repairs to his snout. Looks like he took a knock on the hooter.
Backwards.
Griffons are competing very strongly at the breakdown points. Carry up there from Waldo Buerta. They've got an opportunity. They really have, yeah. Again, straighten it up. That's beautiful play there by Richard Gum. Well, I'll tell you what, he is so close. It's just, I thought his momentum might have been carrying him. But again, they have a penalty, Griekwas. And this is a great position, but, you know, I'll be worried a little bit about their lineouts. Do they kick it out? Do they catch and drive? Do they maybe scrum?
Looks like they're going to go for the quick tap.
Oh, maybe the softer option. They have got that big pack of forwards that we've spoken about. And there's a bit of obstruction there from SP Wessels.
Let's go.
Gee, head coach Gervin Alexander is going to be livid with his Griekwas team. They just got themselves into fantastic field position. They worked that blind side, they exploited it, got 5 meters from the try line, and they blow it.
Reasonable kick that from Reino Fenter. And you mentioned Gervin Alexander, Warren, as well, as we have another look at this.
Classic, absolutely classic. The loose head prop going in front, obstructing the tacklers, holding them in, not even in contact with the ball carrier.
Griekwas who's come away with it. Again, good attacking situation. Quick ball from the ruck is needed, but it's been slowed down. Griekwas looking well organised. Always good to have one or two men on your shoulder, just giving you the extra momentum. And you've got to be visionary as well. You've got to look and see if there's someone in a better position than you. Now, can they play it wide? No, they go back in field. Aldo Buerta very much part of that drive up field. Now it's the turn of the Griffons under huge pressure here. Now, how wide can they play it? The right winger is miles out. A good cross kick would have done the trick there. There's always dangers with that too. And
No advantage, 12 offside.
Offside there was Colin Herbert.
12 offside.
So now again, do they kick it goal? It's another acute angle, unfortunately. Or is it a tap and go?
Well, the fact that they're battling to make the decision just shows they've got lack of confidence in their set piece.
Cappy. Cappy. Discipline better.
Lots of pressure coming. This is the line out. The early jump from Leon Barnos, and the ball just going over the top and poached beautifully by Tiaan Roux. He sets up great field position, and from there they launched the attack. They had a lot of forwards getting involved, carrying that ball forward, and they did well to engineer the field position.
What amazing that there have been so many throws over the back of the line out. Players all jumping. I did think that there might have been some balking with that last line out, but I think the slow motion actually showed us that that wasn't the case.
Well, Gavin, you highlighted, I mean, we are in, what's it, the 16th minute. Both teams have lost 2 line-outs apiece.
And they lost them badly as well, haven't they?
Haven't even been close.
Now, Jonty Gray to get Griekwas on the ball. Just slipped past. That was just so close. Coat of paint would have done it. Werner Badenhorst, the captain of Griekwas, will come back onto the park.
Hou vir my. Bloed. As hy bloed.
Also got to bear in mind, the captain's just come back on the field, so he's going to say, listen, I wasn't part of your decision making there. A tap and then a kick at goal. And that's gone directly into touch. So another disappointing feature there for Griffons.
Gee, that's a real blow for the Griffons under 21 side. The pressure just comes fair and square straight back onto your shoulders. This Griekwas under 21 side going to have this scrum right in the centre of the field. They got options. They can go left, they can go right. We've had an unhappy scrum. We've seen that SP Wessels has battled a little bit on this loose head side with big Wilhelm Steenkamp. Need to get this primary phase, need to dictate where this play is going to take place. It does so at scrum time.
Touch.
Yeah, I think he hit the nail on the head with the word pressure.
Put in.
They've just taken the pressure back on themselves.
Back 6. Use it.
Badenhorst onto Roux. Managed to get rid of it. The captain is proving to be quite a handful for the Griffons, the Griekwas captain, that is.
So advantage.
Seems to be a lot of energy now in this Griekwas team. I think they're getting a little bit more possession. So it'll be another penalty. And
Binding
that's
6.
Oh, penalty is against Yaka Nordia for not binding, or shortening his bind or releasing his bind, bearing in mind the flank forward needs to be bound all the way up to his shoulder until the scrummage is over.
They win the penalty because Yakunudia releases his bind. But the Griekwas wanted to play right here. They didn't actually want this left shoulder, even though it's going left. It's awkward ball for them, and it's well done by the Griffons to give them untidy ball, but they conceded the penalty, and now Jonty Gray has the opportunity to get the first points of the game.
Well, no problem with that. From up front, Jonty Gray with his second opportunity. He's got Griekwas in the lead. And they are a confident side coming off that win last week against the Pumas. They want to carry on the good work. And again, you know, it's really important to win your home fixtures. It's a turf that you know. The Griffons are not going to give up easily.
Yeah, although this turf is very similar to what they used to back in Velkom.
That's well done by Griekwas, just making 100% sure of it. Again, it's another low kick there from Jonty Gray. And Billy Liebenberg unable to pick it up. He's done really well to get away from, thought he was taking a bit of a chance. That's another good kick too. Can't let the ball bounce on this field. Just have a look at that. That's a brilliant kick from Billy Liebenberg. Could be really inspiring for Griffons.
Top class Billy Liebenberg. His team would be very happy with that. He gets a high five from Luan Kleingeld. The secret there, and you know, Gavin, cannot allow it to drop on the field. If it hits the ground, it'll jump up like a tramp, or just hit a trampoline and just run, and that's exactly what happened there. And the Griffons now have very good field position. The line out for Griekwas has come under pressure.
Waldo Buerta with the throw. There's the tap down for the Griffons. A little bit messy there at the moment, but it's going to be a penalty.
Choice. Penalty or scrum?
Oh, there's a choice here, but the penalty, they'll be able to kick it goal, yeah?
Choice, penalty or scrum?
Penalty or scrum was
says Poles.
was the call from the referee. And little Nootman, the captain of the Griffons, said Pala. So there we go. And he would have translated that as poles, but it's posts.
Posts, that's it. The correct English for a rugby post. That's the wind that's blowing, and just on their captain, Mario Notman here, we didn't get to see it, but he made such a good tackle on the break that they had on Richard Gum to prevent that try earlier on.
You can see the sky's pretty much cleared. We're a couple of drops of rain a little bit early on. Now, Reno Fenta. No problem with the distance. But just putting past that left hand upright. So both kickers just not having great fortunes as of yet, but bearing in mind that kicking in the wind is never easy. So we just gone past the halfway mark in the first half, and it's pretty much even Stevens. There's another ball being allowed to bounce. Oh, that ball's been caught in an offside position. So he'll blow for the first thing, which was a knock-on.
Gee, he's very lucky, Dirk Robbelaar. Caught that ball in the offside position, the big number 8. And again, it was cannot allow the ball to drop on this field, as we see for the big number 17, Chris van der Linde, coming onto the field for Waldo Buerta, who looks like he's gone off for an injury.
Interesting rearrangement in the front row.
A bit like the Argentines.
Bajada time. Go with 8. So Tiaan Leroux gets a reasonable scrum there, and an effort from Chris van der Linde.
First up.
Got a very interesting and very well balanced pack of forwards as well, Griekwas. Got the towering Stefan Milan, called him Ligtoring. Very tall fella, very speedy back row, especially Werner Badenhorst as well. He's a good carrier of the ball. The Griffons are holding on pretty well. Leroux, Gray, the little dummy. It's the first real run that for Heinrich Momba. Yeah, it's another penalty. So the penalty, let's hear what the referee's got to say. Yeah.
Te veel penalties now. Okay. Dus kry ons dissipline reg. 7 sliding in from the side. Okay. Dissipline reg. Yeah. 7 side entry.
Luan Kleingeld is the man that has been penalised. I mean, it's his job to go there and compete. And he's just been blown, and the judge to have come in from the side. He comes in from the side here, straight in sideways, crabs in, goes in on the ball. It's so difficult because that ruck hasn't really been formed. The players just fall down to ground. He goes down, picks it up.
Yeah, just, I mean, generally very good technique there in winning that ball too. But your entry's got to be from...
It's got to be from behind. It's so difficult as that open sider. You've got your eyes on the ball and you want to take the tiger line, so to speak, but you've got to just come around the corner a little bit and then into the ruck.
I wonder how good John T. Gray's memory is. A couple of minutes ago, from exactly the same spot, he popped it over. Take two, then it is for John T. Gray.
No problem with the Gray memory.
Yeah, nothing grey about it either. Grey matter is working. So excellent that Griekwas just 6 points. And, you know, neither team has really looked like they're going to score plenty of points in these first 25 minutes. So it's important to pick up what you can from kicks at goal when the opportunities abound. Tiaan Roux eventually caught in possession.
Step.
But importantly, Griekwas have held on to it.
Outside.
John T. Gray, he's onto the left foot there. Decides to go open side. And that's actually gone straight into touch. So the ball was carried back into the 22. So they're going to have a line out.
Gavin, I think it highlighted exactly what you mentioned earlier. He was forced to kick on the left, but he didn't have a left that he could kick with. He went with the right and kicked it straight into touch. Did John T. Gray. Well taken. Again, it was a good kickoff from Reino Venter. Allowed his forwards to get underneath that ball, put a lot of pressure on the ball receiver.
Now a chance here for the Griffons. They've let it go, unfortunately. Luan Kleingeld unable to take it. He was running a very good line as well. The channel, he changed the direction of the run.
Oh, the ball comes and you get the feeling he just took a sneak peek at the defense that was coming. He was running a top line. He needed to worry about the ball first and then the defenders second.
Crouch.
And imagine that the Griekwas backline are absolutely thirsting for some good ball.
Engage.
But they're not going to get it now. Again, it's for binding. The second time the referee's blown. That quick take from Noordman.
Stefan Salatin.
And a chance here for the Griffons, but some very poor passing initially. That ball did go backwards, so they would have continued playing, but it will be a line out now. So the finishing touches perhaps from both sides lacking and on occasions.
You can see what Mario Noordman was thinking. If they could have executed correctly, they had the men, they had the overlap, but it was the easiest kick of all three that they would have taken at goal. They declined it. They wanted to get the 5 points out.
Very often your second or third receiver needs to really straighten the line as early as possible. That's what opens up the space. Players tend to run too much across the field, and then the last man tries to straighten. It's too late then. Well, there's a charge down. You can play that, sir. Did well there, Heinrich Momberg, to come out of that first up tackle. John T. Gray sees lots of open space. Now this is Billy Liebenberg. His last kick went about 70 meters. He's not going to kick on this occasion though. Good running by the fullback. Good clean out as well. They're way behind the advantage line there where the Griffons couldn't spread it quickly, but they've got a benefit of a penalty.
Get it tackles lower. I tackle. Dangerous.
Penalty for a high tackle. And they're not going to kick it goal.
That's the high tackle there. Nothing sinister in it, but you cannot be above the line of the shoulders.
Thank you, Sean.
Throw in from Wimpy Hutton. Again, it's to the back, but this time it's really well executed. There's an opportunity for the big fellas, Willem Sienka, but he's had the ball taken away from him. This is Billy Liebenberg. What about a drop? Nope. He's quite a pacey player, is Billy Liebenberg, so
On your feet.
trying to open it up.
Football ball.
Quite often when you're in a position like that too, one of the important things to do is to actually pass it before you start running, because the players are very geared, the defenders, at going at you.
100% correct. And that counter attack too, if you can do a little swivel or switch move as well, because he was going towards the blind side. You could have just switched to a player crossing, take the players across and open up the space.
Yeah, importantly to have faith in the ball. Hey, the ball is a lot quicker than the man. Use it where you can. So just a couple of slowdowns, a couple of injuries. Waldo Botha battling a little bit as well. I just wonder, he'll come on as well, will Waldo Botha, as soon as he feels a bit more comfortable with that arm of his. He's right-handed, so it's the left elbow by the looks of things that it's taken a bit of a knock.
Let's go.
So the troops come off, all 30 of them carrying water bottles and the necessary medication and an ice pack and whatever else goes with it. Gee, we've had a lot of penalties in this match. Another chance here for the Griffons, and really, if they can get the distance, they should kick it goal. Rano Fenter has shown he can kick at prodigious distances.
Yeah, it looks like Colin Herbert's the man that's going to step up. And you wonder if he got a few tips from his father, Eric Herbert, who was a prodigious kicker for the Griffons, especially in the late 80s when he kept that Natal side out of the A section Curry Cup.
Yeah, a superb kicker, very, very good kicker, and his record speaks for itself. Well over 1,000 points. So talking about father and son, you talk about brothers and cousins, and Eddie Lightfoot, who's one of the coaches for this Griekwas under-21 side, is the brother of a man who played a lot of rugby against you, Warren. Vessel Lightfoot.
You said to me that 21 wasn't so long ago. It wasn't that long ago, and I didn't get a game against Vessel, unfortunately. What a great rugby player he was.
Yeah, he was a super player. Played hooker, of course, for the Cheetahs. That's a very good kick, that again, from John T. Gray.
Oh, top-class stuff.
Quick throw in at the line-out. You can see that Noordman really wants to try and get this game going, but he's been let down by his charges through some bad handling, some bad passing. One fancies that the Griffons really have the right attitude as far as that's concerned. Up against a big pack. Try and move the ball away from that big pack if you can. Tiaan Roux, beautiful space created. He has a real chance. And there's the finishing pass. That's brilliant play that by the Griekwas. In an interesting situation, it got opened up. Tiaan Roux just created all the space that was needed, and Darren Koopman went over.
Oh, the one thing you never want to do against the Griekwas side is allow it to become loose, allow it to become fragmented. Tiaan Roux did so well, and this number 8, Werner Bardenhorst, did a great job. Wait, draw, pass. Fantastic. Straight to his winger, who was running a fantastic line. Running that outside-in line was Momberg.
Yeah, I don't think it was Darren Koopman. It was, in fact, Heinrich Momberg who scored that try. Just saw Darren Koopman coming in from the left, but it was Heinrich Momberg with the finishing touches, and John T. Gray with the conversion.
Now, Tiaan Roux is so alert, the little scrum off, and the little offload there, great line by Werner Bardenhorst. The little one-handed offload was fantastic. Draw on the defender, release your centre.
Also a big, powerful man is Heinrich Momberg. It's the sort of guy you want running off the ball 10 meters out. As you said, Warren, another good kick in that, you know. And it's Griekwas now who've got some good momentum now that they're into double figures.
You can just sense the confidence levels for this Griekwas under 21 side starting to rise, and the offloading out of the contact situation has been very good.
Happy, Stefan?
Now the Tiaan Roux has shown a clean pair of heels on occasions. Good reading of the game. But there's a knock on there, so they'll come back for the scrum.
You mentioned the salmon pink boots, and that's all we've been seeing in these opening 30-odd minutes. You see some of the Griekwas players starting to come in for the main game later on. We start our broadcast here at 10-3. The Central Union's derby between Griekwas and Free State Cheetahs. Griekwas yet to get a victory in the Currie Cup. They lost last week against Western Province. So important, and you mentioned earlier, for them to get those home ground wins.
Well, this was a fortress, or has been a fortress on occasions over the years. And the under-21s are proving that at the moment.
It's a good scrum from the Griekwas.
Just too early. 6 just too early.
Penalty against Badenhorst. So Nutman has got his men going very quickly, but now caught in possession.
Release! 17!
That's better technique from the Griffons at the breakdown point. Again, a little behind the advantage line. Not much opportunity there for Jaco Nordia.
Yeah, and flat-footed as well, Gavin.
Deep behind the advantage line. And not quick release from the ruck either. Back in field. Nordman's done well, yeah. Now, is he... Oh, he's done the right thing. He kept his head low, and that is a brilliant finish if he scored this try. They're going to have a look upstairs.
Sean?
Yes, Peter.
Can you just look at the last pass?
Okay, you want to check if it was forward?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, he did the right thing, Nordman. He realized that he could get hauled in. Just got into a very low position and dived.
And he's resisted that urge to go for the second movement. He's used his momentum to try slide in.
Big question there, I guess, is that ball on the line? If so, it's a try if there was no transgression before that.
Jesus,
this forward.
No, there's a...
Cappy? Cappy?
He does so well, the little scrum off from there.
As jy dit defend, dan sal jy 'n penalty af. Right, kom ons kry dit reg.
Have a look at this, Bros. Was this forward?
It's the direction that the ball moves from the hands as he passes it, not where the player receives it. And it's right very flat on the advantage line.
Yeah, you have a gut feeling immediately, don't you? And it tells me that I don't think it was forward.
It's right on that line. Tough call for Sean Feltzman.
Peter,
Yes, Sean?
that was definitely a forward pass,
All right.
so no try.
Scrum, red,
Sean Feltzman.
green,
Yeah.
Sean Feltzman has got keener eyes than we have.
scrum, forward pass.
Yeah, a lot more convincing than you and I, Gavin, but I tell you, the thought process behind Sejani Malani,
Forward pass.
the winger for the Griffons, trying to drag that pillar wide and then play his little number 9 inside. Absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately for them, they've been ruled to be forward, and the try has been disallowed.
It's a big blow for them as well, with 0 points on the board, close to half-time. Just kept them in the game, especially if they got a conversion over.
Crouch.
Still a lot of resilience from the Griekwas side.
Touch.
And of course that 13-0
Pull.
lead at the moment, which they'll be very proud of. That scrum's gone through the 90 degrees, so possession is surrendered. It'll be a put-in for the Griffons.
So many turnovers at the set piece for both either teams in this game thus far. Griffin's got to be assertive, got to get that right shoulder in order to launch.
Touch. Stand up. Don't you want to hang on your own feet? Get your feet below your hips. Get square.
Referee Tiaan Jansen van Rensburg doesn't want SPF Vessel's shoulders below his hips.
Touch. Pull. Engage.
Notman with a fairly solid scrum, a pick up at the back. And Becky's once again in the gun. A lovely little sidestep. Wow, what a finish by the little fella.
Gee, Mario Notman, fantastic work. He's just been denied a try that he thought he had scored. Seconds later, he goes, and it was great work by the number 8. He went wide, he dragged all the defence across, and then the little scrummy, the little captain had a lot of work to do. He showed the twinkle toes. He goes out wide, drags all the defence. Everything comes across, plays inside, there's space. Now the Fred Astaire shoes come on. He jumps inside, scores the try.
Well deserved, I have to say. He's shown a lot of energy in this match as Mario Notman. Of course, he's captain of the side as well. Certainly the shortest man on the field. Over she goes then. Griffons, I think it was Darren Koopman with that kick, was it?
Rainer fent to the man to knock it over. But what a beautiful try and fantastic work by the number 8, Dirk Robbelaar, to drag that defence across and exploit that right shoulder.
Yep, was Fenter. Rick was looking to try and add to their points tally in this first half. And that the Griffons really need to try and guard against. They don't want to lose their lines here. Keep their structure in defence. Less than 2 minutes left in this first half. Well, it's counter-attack time, and they've taken the ball away, have the Griffons. Brilliant play initially, but that pass should perhaps have gone out. And now they've given away a penalty. So Griekwas presumably will kick at goal. Just work through that last minute or so.
Gavin, it's exactly what you don't want to happen when you've just gone and scored a try. You've done so well, you've absorbed the disappointment of not scoring the initial one from Mario Notman. You come in again, you score it, the ball gets kicked off, you run the ball from deep within your own 22. Possibly a pass should have gone out from Tiaan Milani, and the penalty's conceded. The pressure comes straight back on you. You've got a couple of minutes left, and then the halftime hooter's going to sound. You don't want to allow the Griekwas to score right now.
Yeah, well, it could have been 3 points, but it could also be 7 if they get their line out working. And the drive from the line out, we know how strong their pack of forwards is. And away they come now. Well, the try has been scored. Pieter Janssen van Vuuren right on the spot. And that try belonging seemingly to Werner Badenhorst, the captain.
Yeah, good work by the big guy. He helped set up the first try of the game. He's got the second for the Griekwas under 21. Came from a maul, he busts out. He's got a lot of work still to do. He busts through 2-3 tackles and rolls over and scores and gets the place down behind the try line. A high tackle coming in. Needed to be low. Needed to be in that rib cage area. Try drive him back.
Yeah, some great upper body strength there from Werner Badenhorst. Jonty Gray, 3 successful kicks at goal to date. Well, he turned pretty quickly, did Jonty Gray, in the knowledge that that kick was going to go over. So that's 4 successful kicks at goal. 2 great tries as well from Griekwas in that first half. The solitary try for the Griffons, but it was worth a couple maybe. Mario Notman, great finish from the little scrum half. So 2 tries to 1, Griekwas lead in this first half. And it is by 20 points to 7 as well. And they'll feel happy with that, but there are certainly for both sides some work to do in the second half. We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be back shortly.